Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
We're here to talk about
Beer and bread.
Beer,
bread and beer.
Beer and bread together again.
For the first time.
You know, they're related. They're kind of like cousins.
They're more than cousins.
And they're both in bread. We love that joke.
We've been working on that joke for days. So, James.
Yes, Steve.
Tell me about the bread that you made.
Well, the bread that I made over there is made with this beer, which has been sitting out so long, it's flat now. It's my brew in a bag beer that I did in the Australian method of brewing. Instead of a mash tun, you brew in the kettle and you brew in the bag. In fact, this is the bag. And it's this fine nylon mesh, and I got this at Andy's store, thehomebrewery.com. And I've got pictures that I can show of this going into the brew kettle. And you put all the water that you're going to need for the mash in there with your grain, and you mash for an hour, what you would do, and you just lift this bag out and let it drain, and that's it. And then you go on to boil. You just left it. I even squeeze the bag at the end of it.
No sparging.
No sparging. And this is a little session ale, 8 pounds Maris Otter, 1 ounce of UK or US Hallertau at an hour, and then 0.85 ounces of UK Fuggles at 5 minutes.
That's very nice.
It's just a little session beer. It's like 3.9% alcohol.
It's really, really good. It's a little sweet in a good way, and I like it a lot.
Yeah,
so good job. It's real clean.
I think it's a valid brewing technique. The only thing that I didn't like about it is there was like 2 inches of sediment in the bottom of the carboy. And I assume that some of that was protein from the wort that didn't get filtered out in the filter bed of the mash.
And didn't you have a little technique problem involving dough balls?
Yeah, you don't want to... I got the dough balls. What I did was I took the bag full of grain and I put it into the water all at once. And of course it all clumped up and I had to stir a lot. So if I were to do it again next time, I would line the kettle and then pour the grain in slowly and then stir as it went. But other than that, worked out just fine.
Made a nice beer.
So then...
so what's in this little loaf?
Well, what inspired us was Ollie from Stockholm, Sweden, emailed and said that he had a good recipe for beer bread. And so I said, I would like to try that. It is 3 cups of sifted flour, 1/3 cup of sugar, 3 teaspoons baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons salt, a beer. And the first time I tried it was with my coffee porter, and some melted butter on the top. And you just mix all the dry ingredients, mix in your beer, and bake it for about an hour at 325 to 350 Fahrenheit, somewhere around there. And it was, the coffee porter bread was tasty. Why don't you slice us a slice or two of this? And this has 12 ounces of the brew in a bag ale, which had Maris Otter, I guess I said.
This is a really heavy beer. I mean bread. Beer, bread.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah. This is very nice, James.
It looks like...
see how it tastes.
Looks like white bread.
Now, I didn't hear. Did you add any yeast to this?
No.
So it's a quick bread in the sense it's not a yeast bread.
Right.
Except for whatever yeast was in the beer.
Yeah, I did let the dough sit for an hour or two just to see if the yeast that was left over in the beer would actually have any effect, and it didn't rise much, if at all. So I guess all that is the baking powder that made the little holes. But
Well, it's just darn tasty. That'd make a great toast, like a breakfast toast. That's really good. Thank you, Ollie.
I'm assuming that's how Ollie pronounces his name, O-L-L-E.
In Swedish, that's pronounced Smith.
Now that's good. Now this
good.
is the interesting thing when you do this with 2 different breads. I don't want to hurry because I want to get onto yours as well. is that you get the different tastes from the different beer. The first one with the coffee porter was more roasty than this one. This one is a lighter color and a lighter texture. Tell us about your bread before we run out of time.
Okay. Mine I did as a skillet bread. It's 2 cups of just regular, all-purpose flour. Could have made it with whole wheat flour, but that's what I had. A half a cup of rolled oats, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, a 12-ounce vanilla coffee porter as the wet ingredient. The recipe actually called for a half cup of finely diced sharp cheddar cheese in the bread, but I decided not to do that. I decided to make it as a skillet bread instead of a loaf and to serve the cheese on the side, so that's what we're going to do. And it has 2 tablespoons of caraway seeds in it as well. So 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes. I think with something like this that's very thin, you have to watch the heat and watch that you don't burn the bread. And let's see how it tastes.
So you cooked it for a shorter time
than the recipe originally called for, because like I say, it was expecting to be baked in a pan like yours,
right?
Much thicker. This is more like cornbread.
Well, why don't you pour the beer while I
okay.
hack us off a piece of bread? Ooh, it's still warm from the oven.
It's warm from the oven.
I think I washed my hands after I went to the bathroom. Oh, it smells good. This is your coffee porter, which we have seen, at least talked about on one of our episodes.
Yep. So I'm going to try a little bite with that. Oh, and there's 4 tablespoons of butter in the iron skillet.
Right.
And then we pour the batter in on top.
Which is how it came out.
That's pretty good.
Well, those caraway seeds really came to the top.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, man.
That's pretty happening.
I like yours better. It has a lot more character than mine. Mine is just kind of a nice, plain, homemade bread. You could almost make a sandwich out of it. This one, I put some cheese around it.
That's good.
Indeed. Boy, that's good.
Try it with a little
Oh, yeah.
beer on the side.
Oh, that coffee porter is really, that's come along. Oh.
That's pretty good.
And hardly any carbs in any of this stuff.
Send that clip to my wife.
So there you go. There's a couple of recipes for you. Give it a try.
We should put these on the Basic Brewing Facebook page.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So check us out there. And we will see you next time. Happy brewing and happy baking.
Ditto.
Come and visit us on the web. At basicbrewing.com, you can find archive lists of both our audio and video podcasts on home brewing. You can also find our DVDs, Introduction to Extract Home Brewing, Stepping into All Grain, Low-Tech Lagering and Decoction Mashing, and our latest edition, Introduction to Wine Kits. And for a limited time, you can find our 2009 Brewers Log Book, where you can schedule and track the details of up to 50 batches of beer. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Write to james@basicbrewing.com, steve@basicbrewing.com, or just use the contact form on basicbrewing.com.
Wisconsin, come smell our dairy air.